Hello, hello. Okay, so a Murphy bed, that is in short a big shelf unit that houses a vertical bed that can be folded out to sleep in. And I wanted to have one of those since I was probably like 12 years old, but I didn't want to buy one of those because they can cost you easily more than $1,000, I think. And I also didn't want to buy a specialized hardware kit, so I just decided to make one of my own. And I also thought that other advantages were to get more space during the day, especially in a small apartment like mine, and to have the closing of the bed or the folding up every morning adds something fulfilling to your morning routine. And then I also wanted to have something that forces me to see my bed as merely just a place to sleep in, because I also used to eat and work in my bed, and that just prevented me from really getting in the right headspace, and I didn't want that. So I separated the two areas by just turning this empty wall into a Murphy bed. Let's start. Okay, so I took some thick wooden beams and I cut them into cubes and placed them on the floor as a starting point, and then used some MDF board and drilled them on top of the cubes to have a surface that avoids interfering with the baseboards that I had at the floor to the edge of the walls, because they were just too thick and I didn't want to have anything in the way. So then I took some Ikea ivar side pieces, 3 in total, placed them on both sides of the wall, and had a third one to frame in the bed that's to come later. I then took another MDF board on top, screwed it on, and then constructed a slatted bed frame, which cost me $50, which I felt was actually pretty affordable. And then at the back end, I attached a wooden board to ensure that the mattress, when stowed away, doesn't just fall down, but stays in place, basically. To that, I added hinges, which I thought were perfectly fine as the rotating hardware. And then for the next step, I screwed in 2 horizontal beams on the bottom surface. I then had the bed frame connected with the hinges of the whole construction, and then I basically already had a very, very basic structure of a folding bed, which was great. And so what was also part of my vision was to use so-called gas pistons to ensure that the bed would always fold down safely and slowly and not accidentally abruptly fall down like with this guy.
Because systems are very
I bought some of those gas pistons. I tried to use them for my Murphy bed and I ran into some troubles, okay? But more on that later. I then installed some provisional legs for the bed. I then took my mattress, which was one of the lightest ones that Ikea sold, and placed it on the bed. It's now discontinued, but there are very similar ones still available, and I do recommend picking a light mattress because it will make lifting the whole thing up and down much, much easier. I secured the mattress with some straps, and then I was basically good to go. I thought. Have a look. I need to take a shower, and then I'm gonna be clean. I'm gonna jump to a clean or new bed, and that's just the best feeling, isn't it?
Why is my bed wobbly?
That's not good.
No, my bed is wobbling.
Yeah, so at this point I was basically really, really down because I thought I was done with everything structurally, but I wasn't. Not funny. There were just too many tiny problems to troubleshoot, and mainly there was the gas piston soft opening situation that didn't work, and the bending of the frame situation, which I could have just avoided, by the way, if I paid a little bit more and bought an Ikea slatted bed frame. But I found a way to solve it, so I didn't need to spend extra money, which was by just inserting wooden bars perpendicularly to the to the things, basically, that really dispersed the weight of the body that sleeps on top of it evenly. I followed that up by deconstructing the whole hinge situation and the horizontal beams, and yeah. I followed that up by deconstructing the whole hinge situation and the horizontal beams to then jigsaw out a huge open area. I inserted the bed frame, added new hinges so that now the axis around which the bed rotates, or in other words, the placement of the hinges, is no more at the edge of the bed, but how shall I say it, inside the bed, you know, creating two sides now. There's now a big part in front of the axis and a tiny one behind it. I then installed more wood cubes on the outer surface of the slatted bed frame and topped that off with a board of MDF. Now I basically had the whole surface be in contact with the floor and not just two legs or something, which for me perfectly solved the whole bending of the bed situation. Okay, but why did I do all of this in the first place? Well, there was another problem that I had to fix. I ran into some troubles. More on that later. And this is regarding the gas piston. So if you're not interested in that, you can skip to this timestamp on screen right now. Goodbye. You see, at the beginning, I wanted to use so-called extension dampers, which is a type of gas piston. And as the name suggests, it slows down the motion or dampens the motion of extending the piston. So if you were to use it on a surface that folds downwards, it would slow down the downward opening. I assumed that these were the ones that came with the $150 hardware kit, but I, as you know, didn't want to buy that, so I was absolutely not able to find out what kind they used because they didn't say it, which was probably what is good for them economically, but I couldn't find those, and I then had to search the internet again and again, and I just found one that were within my budget. I found them on eBay, and they had a maximum force of 150 newtons, which I feared was not enough, but well, behold, after installing them, they did not hold my bed frame. They were just too weak, so in theory they should work out fine for anything that opens downwards, but I couldn't find the right ones. But maybe they will work for you if you find some. However, because I searched the internet for such a long time, I constantly stumbled upon another type of gas piston, which is the so-called compression damper. And since I wanted a soft opening for the Murphy bed, I was always bummed that I couldn't use those since they only worked for the opposite way, which was to slow down or dampen an upwards motion of a surface. Except then I found out that I did have the possibility to use them. The thing is, now that I had the axis of rotation within the bed, it created two sections, and on that tiny new section, the opposite mechanics applied basically, so I could use the opposite piston, which is the compression dampener. Okay. So what I mean is that if you were to install the compression dampener there, it dampens the upwards motion of that side, which means in total that it dampens again the Murphy bed as a whole opening. And that was great, I thought, and I was like, okay, I cracked the code, and I bought some compression dampeners with a maximum force of 450 newtons, and then they still didn't work for me. See, the structure and all of the measurements that I chose were just not good enough for it to withstand all of the force that was basically happening. So if this opens slowly without breaking, that's a good sign. This is not really working. I kind of expected that to happen as well, since the small part behind the rotation axis was just way too small. I knew that because of the so-called physical law of leverage. Everyone basically knows it physically through experience, but my knowledge and motivation was just not there anymore for me to recalculate stuff and scour the internet for new pistons and then deconstruct everything and reconstruct everything, and so I didn't. So long story short, I did end up being able to crack the code and solve the whole Murphy bed piston mystery, but I also kind of just failed halfway through. A bummer, as I said, but I was able to carry on without them because I just didn't use them. And that was fine as it was. You see, I just kept everything structurally in place as it was up until that point, and now, to prevent the Murphy bed from just accidentally falling down and hurting someone, I thought I could just use it. I thought I could just use something to keep it in place, like a push-to-open release lock, or like I used one, a magnetic release lock, and it worked. So then I carried on by covering everything with a thin wooden plate. It was, yes, MDF once again. At the beginning I also covered the big, huge area below the bed, but then replaced it with a blanket because it was just too heavy and it looked nice still. I also used it to make openable cupboards and used some hinges to do that, and then also installed a drawer to act as my nightstand, because that I could just pull out at night when I went to sleep, but I could also just stow away during the day so that it didn't take up space, and I thought that was great. And then for the rest I installed some horizontal boards. And regarding that, I also wanted to have a very distinct feature. I wanted to have an open space with a half circle shape at the top. So I started by creating a very rough body that kind of, I guess, resembled the negative space of a half circle, and then installed that onto the shelf. I then reused some spare material that otherwise potentially would have just been tossed, and I used it to create the two side walls of the area, or the space, and then I slowly created the whole shape that I wanted to basically aim for with some molding clay, going bit by bit and layer by layer. I lastly covered up everything with a molding paste, which is something that you mix up yourself in contrast to the molding clay, and I used that so that everything was even out properly and had a mostly flat surface, while also having a tiny bit of roughness texturally, and I like that. And yes, I also used the molding paste on other areas prior to create some transitions between two areas, or have them level, or create cleaner edges or something of that sort. It was actually my first time using the molding paste, and I was pleasantly surprised at how easy it was. So now that I had everything structurally finally in place, I was able to paint, which felt great. So I was like, okay, let's do this. I started with a white base layer, and then I followed that up with a batch of white paint, and also added some dark taupe color, which is a color designed especially to be mixed into another batch of color so that you have something else. And I like the color that was created through that, but it didn't work out, because as I saw that the first areas dry after I applied them, I was kind of appalled to see that it turned out to dry in a very different color. And I was like, okay, I'm just gonna try again. So I took another paint, white paint again, mixed it with other paints that I had lying around, and I was like, I'm just gonna hope for the best, because this is basically the same method as the thing that I used first. And I actually didn't like the color that turned out, but then as it dried again in a different color, and then suddenly I liked the color, so I was just like, okay, it's not perfect of a color, but I'm gonna stick with it. Well, then I was basically ready to move my stuff into it because I was done, and it was a really nice feeling to decorate the stuff the way that I wanted and the way that I felt looked nice and interesting. And it felt like a huge payoff for all of the work that I had done, because you see, this wasn't without a lot of heavy lifting, without literally shedding sweat and blood, and to see what I envisioned months upon months earlier turn into reality was just so gratifying. So I wanted to add a slight disclaimer at the end, which is that my philosophy in these videos, and this one in particular, was to show people my process, to give you ideas to create an outline from and to go off from. You know, everyone has individual needs and priorities for themselves, and for me it was to be within budget, to have it work out as it should, and to look nice, which it ended up being. But I knew from the beginning that under these circumstances, I wasn't going to make the most structurally sound or, I don't know, baby-friendly piece of furniture, and so that wasn't my priority. And I also ran through a number of minor problems that were individual for me, and that will always occur for everyone in a different way, and for me all of that was okay. So you can just feel free to adjust things in any way, shape, or form that you want to, or just not do anything and ignore this and see this video just as entertainment, which I hope at least it was that, a bit entertaining. So that's it. It was fun, it was a lot of work, and yeah, thanks for the memories.